is the Friday night. It is with Erdinger. We are in the magnificent Red Lion. Upstairs, I hasten to add, downstairs it's Shocker. Up here, they've been very kind and sort of parcelled it off for us, which is nice to see. Rob's knocking around back there as well, just sort of looking after proceedings in that way of his. Jordan's producing this one, and I've got Kev Sampson, I've got Cam Rimmer, and I've got Mo Stewart, and we'll start off with the Chelsea game, Mo. They were brilliant, and I think that you can have a bit of a chat about were they so good and they made Chelsea look bad? Were they so good because Chelsea were already bad? Did Chelsea make it easy for them? I think Chelsea played quite well at 1-0, which is one of the reasons why I think it may well be ultimately the quality of Liverpool's performance rather than Chelsea's shortcomings.
I agree, and it's weird because we've been playing well for a few weeks now, and I think there was a period where we were waiting for the good performance, but we've been through that. So I thought we were just going to be able to be serenely carrying on, but we went up a level against Chelsea, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect us to be doing this now. I was maybe expecting us to be doing this in 2 months, but we're here now, sweet. And yeah, Chelsea absolutely weren't ready, and I love the psychological factor of the fact that obviously we're going to be playing them in the final, and there's all this talk about how is it going to affect the next game. Well, if it does affect the next game, fan-fucking-tastic, because we marmalised them.
We took them to the cleaners, Kevin. I just don't think they couldn't live with everything that we had. And the main thing that I thought we had on top of all the obvious compliments was I just thought we were dead smart. We worked out where the space was, where their shortcomings were, and on top of the technical ability, on top of the physical ability, I thought it was being dead smart that won the day.
Yeah, it was the energy as well, and I think what that sort of indicated was just how meticulously Klopp and his team, the coaches, plan everything. I think from the moment the fixtures come out, they're not just looking at this, cliche of the next game is most important. They're looking at that game. They're looking at a package of 5 games, and they're looking at the season almost in chapters. And it's as though they planned for that first chapter, and we're playing a little bit slowly. We're playing out from the back. We're a little bit more considered, if you like, some of that. But here we are, like, bang, halfway through the season, and suddenly he's flicked the switch, and the gegenpress is back, and just from the first minute you can feel that energy. I thought we saw that for the first time, against Fulham, very much so against Norwich in the cup game. And you still think, okay, it's Norwich, what do you expect? But the way we started against Chelsea and just blew them away. And you're right, Neil, they were in the game. They weren't rubbish, they had something about them, but they didn't have enough about them to match what we had, which was just real kind of streetwise, precise, first touch, one touch look, gone. And like I say, the energy was a thing, and that kind of, the crowd was so up for it anyway. I thought, that was fantastic. Walking in there, it almost felt like a European Cup semi-final.
It really felt like a European night. It really felt like a European night.
It was huge, and the whole thing was just, it was just scintillating. And you come out of the 10-foot tall, and you're just like, okay, bring it on. The Reds are here now.
It did. It really had a feel of March. It had a feel of a European Cup quarter-final. Against Arsenal, sort of made me think a little bit about that 07-08 year, but even that one, Arsenal, he's get to have their say in that game. It was just made clear to Chelsea, Cam, they weren't going to really get to have their say at any point. I think the first half especially, it is one of the great Liverpool halves. And you can go, well, it's only them, or they are where they are in the league. It doesn't matter, they were absolutely blasted.
Yeah, I mean, the game for me, I've referenced it a few times in here, the game I always reference to in terms of the great home performances for me of my generation was the Arsenal in 13-14, where we just took them away. But that for me was better because there was quality all over the pitch. That was just, if looking back, probably just a few individuals who were just world class at the time. But with that, every single player on the pitch, I think the thing for me was the beauty of it. You come out the ground and everyone else had a different man of the match. Everyone else was saying, well, I thought he was, I thought, no, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest compliment you can give them, really, isn't it? For every single player was just outstanding.
Yeah, I said Darwin.
Yeah, well, there we go. But yeah, no, brilliant performance, and I think that's just what we were all saying. What happens if we come on to second gear? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And now it looks like we probably have, haven't we?
There's on it, Cam, everyone has a different man of the match. There was one who I almost felt in dispatches in the end I didn't give enough credit to, going around doing all the different bits I do. But when he scored, I felt like it was firstly it was when the goal was needed. It was when the goal was emphatically deserved. It was Jota. It was a real main man goal. It was a real, I'm just going to sort this out. We should have scored by now. Okay, I'll sort this.
Yeah.
It had all the hallmarks of one of those Liverpool forwards who just sorts out what needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, and not just the goal either. There was so many times where he was just dropping deep and he was like bullying players well. You don't realise with his height, with the size of him, he's actually quite a nasty player. He can get stuck in. There was a few times where he was coming up against lads who were much more taller than him, and he was just coming out with the ball. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he's a proper ginger.
But yeah, no, he was amazing. And the goal, as you said, he just took it by the scruff of the neck, because even though we were on top, we were like, well, we need like the goal to come now, because I was thinking it's going to be one of them nights, so to speak. But no, yeah, he's been brilliant.
He's fearless, and it's funny. Klopp made a mention after the game of how he always ends up with knocks here and bruises here after every single game. It's because he just doesn't care. He will throw himself around, throw himself into opponents, make himself an absolute nuisance. And I love that about him as much as I love his goals. But I love the kind of juxtaposition with him and Darwin, and I feel like him being around makes Darwin work better, or it kind of accentuates some of the things that might worry
both
about
of them, yeah, with both of them.
So like, if you've got someone who's there creating these much chaos and creating so much chances, and then you've got this kind of Iceman alongside him, then you know that the combination of the two, the creating the chances and the scoring of the goals, are always going to be there. And yeah, I love how he's taken this position in the team, because that was something I was a bit worried about with Jota a couple of years ago. There was times, where does he really fit? Has he nailed down?
Is he the fourth man of the three?
Yeah, all of that stuff. And it's like, we're thinking about it in a different way. We're thinking about it as in like, who are the three main leads in this play? It's like, no, it's not really a play, it's a band. Everyone's got a different instrument in this band, and he is, well, okay, you don't really play a dagger in the band, but he's like the dagger. And you need him as much as you need everyone else, but you need them all to be able to get to where we're going. And we're seeing that in the way that all of them are coming in and having their own moments at different times.
Defo, yeah. Can we honourable mention? I mean, as you know, as you take on, like there was 11 superlative performances out there. There was probably 15 actually with the subs. But honourable mention for McAllister, you know, since he's come back into the team, and just that kind of, you know, that calmness and that precision and the aura that he brings with him. I love the idea of kind of proper mature footballers. You know, I always think of the influence that Gary Mack had on Steven Gerrard. I think that was the transformative thing for Gerrard, was McAllister coming in. And it's just that thing of having, like, dare I say, you know, having daddies in the middle of the pitch who just know what they're doing, know what's happening around them, know how to dictate the tempo, know how to put the force in this, how to, you know, and I just thought he had his best performance in the red shirt. He was fantastic.
He was fantastic, and also I thought his wingman was almost Jones, the two of them. In terms of that, because it's interesting because they are both young. I mean, you know, I think Curtis, we maybe now aren't aware of how old he is because he's still the same at times if we're not careful, as too much of a young player. But McAllister is, again, he was like the game's dad. Everything happens on his terms. But he himself is quite young. But the two of them together, I just thought was so good, Cam, at setting the tempo for the whole match, that Jones could look after it in that part of the pitch, McAllister could look after the situation in this part of the pitch, and the two of them dovetail really, really nicely.
They just bounce off each other, and I think that's something you can see Klopp trying to implement the last couple of weeks, where, you know, he's persistent with them too, and I'm made up, to be honest, because they've had the critics. Jones has, you know, since he's come through, and so's McAllister when he first come. But it's mad though with Jones now, like, he just looks one of the more elder players, doesn't he? But he's still only a kid. It's just because you've got, like, you know, your Bradley's coming through and stuff. But no, I think them two are brilliant, and again, if the League Cup final was tomorrow, they're two of the first names on the team sheet.
They are indeed. Bradley gets a mention there, Kev. It's been a while. You know, Quance has done brilliantly this season. Curtis himself is, you know, I think he's a fantastic footballer. It's been a while since a young player's come through in such a visceral thrill sort of way. You know, that's sort, I can't quite, but there was a hint of it from Doak here and there when you saw him in pre-season games. Sort of Harvey a little bit, but the injury didn't help, and you know, it's been a while since it's just been that sort of, that combination
it's footy with a smile on his face, isn't it? You know, it's just the joy, and that kind of slight element of him, of he's pinching himself, you know, is just that grin. He can't keep that grin on his face. But what a player. And, you know, that has been coming. Like, he's had his bad luck with injuries as well. You know, he could have been at this stage a year ago, really. The ability is unquestionable. What you never know until they actually produce it on the pitch is, can they make that step, you know? Because I watch quite a lot of the youth games, you know, and by the way, you know, we've got such a pipeline of talent coming through, you know, so many. But he has been, you know, he's been knocking on the door. And talk about seizing your chance, you know, I mean, it's everything. And if there's one moment that's a standout for me, really, it's, you know, it's not the, you know, the exhilarating runs, you know, the the ability to stand the ball, to cross, you know. It was the way he recovered against Norwich, won the ball back on the halfway line, and started that, you know. And that was, you know, again, that was the actions of a much more experienced, mature player. There was no doubt in his mind, you know, he's gone, okay, I'm getting that ball back, that's mine. And away he went. So, in terms of where we are and the options that we've got, you know, that is just one more very, very exciting, compelling option. How does it affect Trent? You know, I think Trent is feeling 10 foot tall because, you know, he knows that he's got that license. You know, if he's going to slot into midfield, you know what? But it's all good, you know.
Yeah. I feel like it was quite apparent with Bradley quite early on. It wasn't just going to be a kid who was coming in and filling in for a few games. You could see, oh, actually, I think we've got a bit of a gem. Yeah. And like that, for me, that goal and like just his all-round performance was a part in the second half. We did like a bit of a kung fu kick and controlled and kept it in. And the lad next to me just went like, look at like it was sort of like one of them sorts of games where it's like I was there sort of games in his goal as well. It didn't just feel like a kid's performance. I think I was listening to a show the other day and I think someone compared it to like Gerrard against Man United, you know, yesterday from 40 yards, one of them sort of coming of age games. And not trying to get ahead of ourselves because you're still only a young kid, but you just feel like you've got that confidence where you've got the confidence to say, well, actually, do you know what? I think this kid is going to be it.
Yeah. And I don't think they're really kind of making too big a deal of it in the dressing room either. That's the thing that
They're not that surprised, I don't think.
That's the thing. They know. And there's been times when young players have come in, maybe in cup games and stuff like that, and you think that they're doing a job and they'll be very limited in what the other players give them to do. But Conor Bradley's got the whole of that right side to patrol, and they all know that he can do it. And you see him, I think in the Chelsea game, for Jota's goal, he's out there screaming for the ball. And like, you know that if Jota didn't score that, he's going to be giving him a rocket saying, you shouldn't have given me the ball. And that's what Klopp has instilled in all of these younger players. And it's such a joy to see the way that someone can come in and just be themselves. And you think about all the training he's had and how he's known about what his goal to be in that team, to be playing with those lads. And now he's there and he's doing it. And like you say, you can just see how much he's enjoying it all. And yeah, I would never want to embody anyone more than him with this last month or so.
Well, we are in the Red Lion, we are with Erdinger. Don't go anywhere. In a second or two, I'm going to ask the hardest question in football, which is to pick me a starting lineup for Arsenal.
And Erdinger, please. Don't forget the best bit.
And welcome back. Arsenal is on the horizon. You starting, Bradley?
No.
Nope.
No. It's Trent for me.
Okay.
It's Virgil, Canati, Joe Gomez over Andy Robertson.
I'm also starting Joe Gomez.
The same three in midfield: Curtis, McAllister, Dom.
Yep.
Up front, my immediate pick is Nunes.
But the injury, the news of a bit of an injury from the press conference.
Sorry.
Oh no, you didn't realise. He's done the press conference. He said they've had to scan his foot. He took his boot off and his foot went enormous. It's not broken, there's not a break in there, but he supposedly played a whole half with whatever this is.
Yeah. Which doesn't surprise you.
No. I may not have didn't tell anyone, otherwise he might have got subbed. Desperate for a goal. No. So Nunez is a doubt, but I think they want to pick him.
He's done for me, if available.
If available.
Yeah. It's the three amigos, isn't it? You know.
Same three the other night.
Jota, Diaz, Nunes. Yeah.
I'm the exact same.
Exact same.
Exactly, yeah. That's the team I'd said myself, only because I just think he might. Bradley, I know we've literally just been saying about how good he is, but he still is only a kid, and there's a few games coming up which you could say, not easy, but there's a Burnley coming up next week. If Trent feels hard, you know what, I'm still not 100% there. There's a lot of games still to come. I think you'll just put Trent back in. I think Trent's ready, but the same with Gomez. Stick Gomez in for keep him in instead of Robbo. But we were just saying then, Bob Canate, just want to give him a mention by the way, because I think he stepped up again the last few weeks. It's been unbelievable.
He has, yeah.
That's my team by the way, yeah. Just need to say that.
Is that your team?
Yes, it wasn't a couple of days ago, but you guys have convinced me of keeping Joe in and holding Robbo back. He probably needs another game before he gets up to full whack. That was the only question for me. The thing about Trent and Conor Bradley is that no one's in any doubt that Conor Bradley can do the job. Like, he's literally done the job there like a couple of weeks ago.
So Gutman's just moved around with training photos and Salah's in team training.
Oh, is he now?
Nunez is in team training. Okay, excellent stuff. Nunez has got boots on. Okay, Nunez has got boots on, not Salah. Sorry, Rob, I thought you said Salah, but you said Nunez.
Right.
And I went that way.
I was going to say, I can understand lip reading being a mistake, but how do you mistake for... Anyway, so yeah, the thing with Trent is the whole Martinelli thing. That's a lot of where Arsenal are going to try to get their confidence in this game. They're going to give the ball to him. They're going to try and get him to get past Trent. They're all going to crowd, going to go up and hope that does something. And if we take that out of their armoury, then it might make them think. But I don't think that we need to go out there thinking we're going to change us because of them.
Yeah.
We can just go out there and beat us, and it will beat them.
Can I ask you a question though? Because I think what was interesting watching Bradley and not just in the game against Chelsea, but when you've watched Bradley, is he's very much played it like he's playing right back for Liverpool in 2019.
Yeah.
He's ran forward in a straight line parallel to the touchline, and he's done a brilliant job. And we know that Trent doesn't want to do that. And I think that football's a really interesting cyclical thing. And everyone's got a bit used to the inverted fullback thing. And then Bradley's just gone, no, watch this. I'm going to play fucking right back. What's your position? Right back, mate. Loads of right back.
Yeah.
And he's done that. And the point about this is, though, is I wondered about in that world where Zinchenko will want to do all the little bits of inversion thing from that side. And the idea of, no, you need to worry about this lad who's unbelievably quick, who'll hammer down that flank. I'm not saying, but I think he will possibly err on the side of Trent. But I don't think it'd be mad to say to Bradley, you're doing another big 55, where you're going to push them back and go, actually, we all stopped doing this for a period because we all got dead cool, but there's a lot to be said for someone just doing this.
Absolutely. I mean, what I can say without doubt is I feel like Bradley's putting himself into the game plan. At some point in the game, whether it's from the start, whether it's coming in at a certain point when the opposition are tired and we want Trent to be over here, whatever it is, the skills that he brings to the table are good enough for Klopp to say, you can help me win this game.
Yeah, and by the way, if he does start, that's not something where you're
not furious.
No. That's a massive plus as well. So I think we've got reasons to be cheerful.
But it's such a good headache, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing.
Compared to the injury crisis at the start of, what was it, December? We were saying, what are we going to do? And now he's literally, it's not just a right back, there's left back as well. I mean, I know Robbo's probably a bit behind Trent in terms of where he is, but yeah, it's just Klopp must be thinking, this is amazing.
December, I hope my hand up, I was thinking we can just get the 1st of January, then we can bring a couple in and we're ready for that big push, but...
It's a massive game for them.
What do we know?
It's a massive game for them, Cam. I think, where if they lose, they're 8 behind us.
Yeah.
And they'd also have to get over City. So if we collapsed, which I don't think we're going to, but if we were to do a bit of a collapse to allow them to get back 8 points, they'd also have to get past City.
Yeah.
If they get a draw, it's 5. But it's also, realistically, if City then win the game against Brentford, I know it's back to a game in hand thing, but you plan for them winning the home game against Brentford, so it's 5 on City as well. I feel like they've got to win.
Yeah. I feel like since that Fulham game, was it just before New Year? Yeah. When they got beat, I feel like every time you watch them, you can just sense in the crowd, they're all we're 1 feet away from it going, which is, I mean, it's us and City, it's obviously far and away the 2 best teams in the league. To them, it's probably just them and toss up between them and Villa for third maybe, but they're probably just thinking they're holding on, aren't they? Let's be honest. I think that'll have an effect on them on Sunday, because say if we were to get an early goal, they're thinking, what do we do now? Or if it's still in the balance and we can bring on Bradley or Trent or whatever. The
scoreboard pressure, Mo, I think is massive on that regard. I think if we go 1-0 up, it's like they're 2-0 down.
Yes.
Because we've lived that reality, especially when you're thinking about City as well, and I think it's done us in the past. They almost, and I think that and the manager the nearest he's ever really got to going into that sort of territory today in his press conference, because he says, well, if they don't win it, you're going to ask them about them and the title. And he doesn't normally do that sort of thing, and he does it today in the press conference, because I think there's a big thing where I think they kick off 1-0 down, in the way in which you felt in the past week, basically you kick off and you're already getting beat.
Yeah.
You're behind the 8 ball.
The draw is ours. 100% the draw is ours, because what we can say about Leicester will still be 5 points away. They'll have lost their biggest chance of calculating any of those point gap up. The biggest chance they have is affecting it by beating us in the same game. They've got to then otherwise wait and watch and hope for us to make a mistake. So yeah, that's definitely going to be in play. I think he's going to come into play in the last 15, where you see where maybe one manager might be thinking, well, okay, draw's fine for me. Arteta might be thinking, well, no, I can't. And then if that is something where they go over the top, we can capitalise on. Because again, I feel like our bench is better than their bench. And I think that if it goes late and we're looking for people to come in and make a difference, then I think we've got the advantage here as well.
You can see with them though, like the inexperience at times, you see them like getting really restless on the pitch, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Compared to us, like obviously we've been through it. Obviously they're a young team, you get it. But you can really see them, the FA Cup game especially, you see them like a few of them stropping on the pitch and stuff. And they can, as you said, then, if they get to 70-75 and we still got Jota on the pitch, who his records against Arsenal is unbelievable. Even, like, there's match winners everywhere, they'll be thinking, it only takes a few misplaced passes. You know what the Emirates is like?
Yeah.
You know, a few misplaced passes, it's 0-0, a few groans in the ground, we go up the other end.
Well, this is it. You said 1-0 down is like 2-0 down. We don't even have to score. They just have to miss their first big chance.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going to remember what happened in that cup game. And all of those demons are going to start coming back. Like you say, they are just below the level of like full freak out. And they're kind of like the London version of Everton in that respect. Like, it doesn't take much for everything to be chucked out of the pram. So
I think every London club at some point gets referred to as the London version of Everton.
But they really are though. No, I mean, maybe obviously Spurs, they've got their own shit going on. But no, I think because this year was meant to be so much, and the idea that they could be out of it so early.
So, in the context of this, all three of you, would you take a draw? City only won 3 away games last season against the teams that finished in the top 10. It's worth saying that, it's worth reiterating that. This season we've done a pretty good job of taking a draw when a draw's been on offer. It's part of why we kept our momentum going. I'm on the camp of it's now all being a bit different. It's a bit mad. We've got momentum. So I'm not quite... If you'd have asked me on December the 1st, would you take a draw for that game against Arsenal? I'd have been times 100, yes. No messing about, yeah, I'll tell you right now. So I'm asking it genuinely because I keep oscillating on it in my own mind. Would you take a draw?
Begrudgingly, but for me it's another crazy win.
Would you take a draw?
Win. I'm at that point.
I'm offering you a guaranteed draw.
No, win or bust.
How's City getting on?
I can't control that.
In that case, no deal.
No deal?
No deal.
No deal from all three of them, an emphatic no deal.
You've got 3 no's.
I think it'll be Schrodinger's draw on 70. Schrodinger's draw in that it'll be level. We'd all take it given the way the game's gone, but we'll all also be thinking, nah, we can win this. That's the way I think it may well go. And I also think that Arsenal, I like that this goes out for free. I also think that Arsenal may get a little ratty, a little emotional, a little ill-disciplined, especially if Liverpool score first. It couldn't be more exciting. Subscribe to the Anfield Wrap, obviously. Enjoy your Erdinger if you're indeed in that sort of mood, wherever you are. Enjoy the Red Line as well. It's the Anfield Wrap. It's Friday night before a fucking massive Sunday.